Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Oikos family podcast. My name is Sonja Wood, and as this is episode 23 of our podcast, I'd like to share with you from Psalm 23. In fact, let me just read it. I've got some stories to tell you about this number 23, but I want to start with just reading Psalm 23 to you today. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I don't think I need to say anything further in this podcast because Psalm 23 is just such an encouragement, and there is so much right there. In fact, maybe today I should encourage you just to take line by line, one verse at a time, and spend time on that with your children. Spend time on that particular verse yourself, and then share it with your children. Because it is just such a beautiful psalm. And when we have it in us, in our hearts and in our minds and in our spirits, it can actually carry us through those dark valleys. Because there's this continual promise that he tells us, surely goodness and mercy and love will follow us. And he prepares a table for us. So, I mean, it's just so beautiful, this psalm, that I'm really going to encourage you today just to go there. Go to Psalm 23 and just spend time there. But actually, I did want to tell you a little story as well. In fact, it's a couple little stories about this number 23 because it's a very, very significant number in our lives. Let me start by telling you why. When I was a child, I was raised in a house that's number was number 23. And then my parents inherited a home in the country, and its number was number 23. And then one day they actually purchased a home in this same reserve, in the country, the nature reserve, where they inherited the home that was number 23. And the farm next door was where they purchased eventually, and the number of that house was number 23. And then when Oikos expanded and we needed to move out from running Oikos within our bedroom and then the lounge and then the garage and then the cottage, we actually then eventually bought a piece of land that was together with my parents and a few others, and we bought this piece of land next door to the reserve where we live at number 23. And after we bought the land, we learned that the number of the property was number 23. Isn't that incredible? So my mother has always found Psalm 23 to be a very, very special psalm to her. And she decided that because this number 23 was just so significant to us, because it just kept on, wherever we lived, the number seemed to be 23, and that wasn't actually intended. It just happened that way. So what she did is she used to write out Psalm 23 with her beautiful calligraphy handwriting and made a very pretty, beautiful page with nice design on it. And then she rolled it up and she would put it somewhere special, somewhere significant in the home that we were staying in, whether it was a holiday home or otherwise. So when we started building next door to our home as I mentioned just now, on the property next door, my mother decided that what we needed to do was have a picnic, and she wanted to choose one of the trees on this property that we could go and have a picnic at, and she wanted to plant her Psalm 23 that she'd written out. She wanted to plant it there by the tree. So she did. And then when we started building, she put this Psalm 23, she did it again, wrote it out all beautifully, and then she put it in the foundation of the house we were building for Oikos. So, you know what? Some people might think this is just crazy. Like, for example, the builders, we had quite a variety of different cultures of people building for us. And it was very interesting to see everybody's different kind of reactions. When my mother arrived with her Psalm 23 piece of paper and informed everybody to put down their tools because we needed to pray and we needed to put the Psalm 23 in the foundations. So you can hear from the story that this number 23 is really significant. It's not just about the number of the house that we stay at or we live in, but it actually has now been planted at trees and put in the foundations of Oikos, of the Oikos building that we built to be able to continue to expand Oikos so we could continue to serve families. So because it's episode 23, of course I couldn't just go by and just let episode 23 come and go and not actually bring significance and tell you these stories about Psalm 23, all about this number 23. But you hear automatically say Psalm 23 because it's all become connected to Psalm 23. So you know what? I'm going to read it again to you in closing for this particular podcast. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So thank you for joining me today with this podcast. I just feel so privileged that I could share this with you, these little number 23 stories, but most importantly, this beautiful psalm. I really, really hope that it just goes deep into your heart and mind and spirit, and that you will be blessed. Until our next podcast then, bye for now.